the specific topics I want to cover is functions and arrays. Now you notice here I put list / arrays because it's a little bit. They call it different. They kind of call it a different thing in Python. The Python doesn't quite have arrays. They're pretty much lists, but we'll get to that shortly. Now let's start with functions. So what I want to show you again is how to write a function in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, we might write var, we write the word var, and then we write the function name. So I'll just go do something, say something, right? Say something, and I won't take any arguments so far. I'll open and close brackets, and I'll just leave it like that, and I'll put a semicolon because this thing is firing up there. All right. Whoops. Equals functions brackets. All right. So that's how we write it in JavaScript. We go var, say something equals function, open close brackets. There's a lot of brackets in this language, and then a semicolon, and then now the interpreter is happy. And you can leave it this blank. You don't have to do anything in here in this particular function there. Now with Python, we use def to say that we want a function. Then we give it a function name. Something. And we open close brackets and we put a semicolon. All right, we put a semicolon. So that's how we start with our function. But unlike in JavaScript, Python doesn't like an empty function. That's why it's errored out here. See if I delete that, it's still an error, right? It wants something in here. It wants something in here. So I have to do something. So what I'll do is I'll just print hello. And now the error is gone. So you can't have an empty function in in Python, but you can have it in JavaScript because we've got these brackets that allow for it. And this one, it relies on a tab. And since you got nothing there, there's no tab there. Even if you put a tab there, it won't work. So that's something to note about Python's function. You need to put something in there, whereas JavaScript you don't have to. But I'll put something in there anyway, exactly the same thing in JavaScript, and it's fine. It should be fine. It's the same thing. I'll just run that, and you notice that nothing's happening. So if I run that and this one, there's nothing showing up there. Now, that's not to say that it's not working. When you create a function, you're defining it. You're creating like a blueprint for it. You haven't used it yet. So if you want it to work, you have to actually use it. So I'm just going to use it now. So at the bottom, we just go say something there. And that works. And then over here, when you're using a function, you do the same thing. So this is use the function. You got to create it and then use it. So it's the same with this language. Create the function. All right. And same with this one. I need a semicolon for that, and there you go. Now they both can take in inputs. So I can give this some inputs. I could go like name and age. And this one I can also go name and age. And what I'll do is I'll just use it. I'll just go hello name. Hello name is, and I'll just put age there. Hello name is, and I'll just copy that and paste it in here. Just make sure my JavaScript version is working. All right, so I got inputs now. Right, I'm going to use them when I print it. I just need to give my function these inputs. So I need to give it a name. So I'll just go Jack, and age is 15. Say Jack is 15. I'll just put a space here. Hello, Jack is 15. Hello. Hello. Hello, Jack is 15. That must make sense. Hello, Jack is 15. So these are the inputs. I'm using them, and you can see hello, Jack is 15, and I've put my input, my parameters in there. Now in Python, I'll just play that. It's not working, and it's errored. So with Python, the issue with Python is it's more strongly typed than this particular environment of JavaScript. It doesn't like that. Oh, well, actually, what I've forgotten, I should put Jack in there and 15. It should still. Yeah, so still error. What it doesn't like is this is an integer type and this is a string type. And when it uses it, it needs them all to be string. The name is string, so that's fine, but the age is not. So you actually have to force string it by putting an str in brackets. Let's push that back a little bit. All right. So you actually have to force string it, whereas in JavaScript, you don't have to. JavaScript, I guess, a little bit smart in the sense that it knows that this is a string, or it just converts it to a string automatically. Right. Now, if I swap the two, let's swap it. Let's use the function again, but put 15 first and Jack second. Hello, 15 is Jack. Doesn't make sense, but it works. Let's try the same thing with this one, and you can probably guess what error an error is going to occur. And let's have a look. Let's run that. Whoops. Oh, whoa. Let me just get back to that. I actually pressed something. All right, back. Just loading, load. There you go. All right. So over here, let me just run it. Just make sure everything's good. Okay, Jack is 15, good. So what I'll do is I'll swap these around. And play. And it errors out because this 15 is accepted as a name. Then my name is 15 and my age is Jack. So this is the issue here. So I'm just going to force string that. Play, and it should work. There you go. Okay. You can't see. Oh, there we go. So you can see there. Jack is 15. Okay. I should put a space here. All right. So you can see here, Python, a little bit more type sensitive. Now, but here's the cool thing about Python. You notice that if I put 15 first, 15 comes up first. With Python, I can actually select what's what. I can say, no. It doesn't matter what order I'm putting it in. I want this one to be the age, and I want this one to be the name. Just make sure you use the same words here that you've used here. And now if I play, there you go. It now knows Jack is the name and 15 is the age. Whereas JavaScript, it's not smart like that. You put the first one in, second one in, and you have to put them in order. Whereas this one, you can put in any order as long as you tell it what's what. Now, if I try to do the same thing here, I want to say that this is the age and this is the name. Let's have a look. Doesn't work. It's not happy with that. I'm just going to turn that off. One last thing, you can force things to string. So this age with JavaScript, you remember that you can go to string. I think it was a lowercase t. Yeah, you can force things to string in JavaScript, but you don't have to a lot of times. Sometimes you might. Whereas Python, a lot of times you should because of the print here. All right. So that's something about functions. And of course, the difference between this is you notice a semicolon here, whereas and you got a tab, whereas this one you got this function, and then you got these open close brackets and a semicolon. So slightly different in terms of syntax there. I wonder if this works if I was to delete those. Yeah, it doesn't work. All right, so they both need this, and this one of course won't work if I delete that either. Won't work without that. Won't work without that. So that's that. All right, let's move on to arrays. So in JavaScript, an array or a list, pretty much same deal. We create it by we can go names equals, And then we do use these square brackets, and we'll make sure we put a var in there. In Python, very similar. Names equals close brackets without the var. But we know that. To add stuff into this array, we could go names, and in the first location 0, I could put in hem, and in the second location, which is not location number 1, I could put bubbles, right? And finally, I can, so this is how to add stuff into the array, add stuff into the array or list, array or list, pretty much same deal in this particular language. And then we go names, I can go dot append, no, not append, sorry, that's wrong language. I can go push, I can push in another value. So I put hem in, I put bubbles in, let's put in horsey, put in horsey. And what I'll do is I'll print all of, I'll print something. I'll print off the location 2. That should print off horsey. So I'll just print off location 2 and see what's in there. I can print off all the locations if you like. I'm not using a loop because we're not covering loops right now. We haven't got up to the module at this point, but that's how I'll print it off. I need some semicolons everywhere. Yes, where am I missing my semicolon? All right, beautiful. Okay, so print line. Sorry, print line. Getting confused. Programming too many languages. All right, there we go. Okay, so undefined names. Okay, so I'll just comment this one out, and you can see hems, bubbles, horsey. Hems, bubble, horsey. All right. So just note here, you can access the actual location specifically and put it in, or you can push in to the next one. Like after this, you'll push into the next one. So we use the word push, dot push in JavaScript. In Python, I will try the same thing. Names. We'll try the same thing. Actually, I'll just copy all that. And I'll print all that, and of course this is a different print. Okay, so I'll do the same thing there. I'm just going to turn these off and recall that putting comments, you put hashes in for Python. All right, and then I'm going to run that. Okay, so there's an error there. So there's the error is this. Firstly, there's no push in Python. Python uses the word append, which is the same as push. Push and append does the same thing. It adds to the end of the array or list. Now, and put in open brackets. Now, another issue is you can't do this in Python. You actually can't access specific memory locations and then change it. It's not happy with that. It wants you. There's a function to do that, but if you want to add stuff to it, you need to use append. It's not happy with that, or at least this version is not happy with it. So I need to now convert all of this to append. And I'm going to run that. And there you go. Well, hang on, there seems to be an issue here. Let me just. All right, so I've append hem, I've append bubbles, and append horsey, and I'm printing off each one of these locations here. All right, I'm just checking if there's any issues here. No, there's no issues here.